What's going on, everybody? It is game day. St. Louis Blues and the Edmonton Oilers. Thank you very much for joining us here on Edmonton Sports Talk. Dusty and Tom Gazzola with you. You can text us anytime, 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999, or hit us up in the Nasty Chat as well. And Nasty Chat is locked and loaded and ready to go. You want to send over your trade rumors, trade proposals, whatever. Obviously, it's that time of year. Think about this, get emotional about it, but after next Friday, we're not going to be able to talk trade proposals for a little while, right? Trade proposals are a lot of what drives sports talk in general. So let's go. 780-218-9999, or hit us up in the Nasty Chat today as well. Tommy Gazzola, how you doing, buddy?
Hello, Dusty. I've got some baseball on. I'm happy. This is good. This is a nice Wednesday. I'm going to be on location tonight down at Hudson's White Avenue, and it's a nice day, all things considered. Yes, the weather isn't great, but I'm happy we're getting precipitation, and I'm happy that it takes care of some wildfire stuff, and I hope that continues, and then it heats up, obviously, as we roll into March.
What we want in this city is shorts and a T-shirt in the moss pit in June. That's what people want, right? That's what the people want. That's what the people deserve. Tommy, you're in such a great mood today, buddy. This is great. Look at you. You're just fired up today.
I'm in a good mood. Why not? This is the best part of the season before playoffs, and it's very exciting. I don't know what it is about spring training and Cactus League and Grapefruit League, but it just I think it's like an indicator that we're moving on to the next phase of the year. And I think spring is super exciting. And then summer you get to enjoy. And then fall reminds you of work. So it's good. The juices are flowing, my friend.
I love that spring training baseball just has you like walking on the clouds right now. It's terrific. Absolutely terrific.
Can I be completely honest with you? I give no crap what happens in spring training baseball, but I just enjoy it. There's something about watching people be at the ballpark, the weather, the sun, the crack of the bat, all the talk about the upcoming season. Like, I just love it. I don't care how, Vladdy Jr. is performing in spring training. I don't care how the Diamondbacks are doing in spring training. I just like that it's back. It's like the perfect lullaby all summer long because baseball puts me to sleep like no other. And I love being at games. By the way, shout out to Sean Hill and Reed Clark from City of Champs. I was able to do a photo shoot for them with OG Jonah, local influencer. And I have to say what they're cooking up with Steve Hogle is really, really nice.
Really? Oh, that's exciting. Very exciting. Yeah. People have some theories, some thoughts. The Nasty Chat's hopping here. Of course, you can text us if you're listening on TuneIn or you're listening on iHeartRadio now. We've got a channel over there as well. By all accounts, it is crystal clear, and people are absolutely loving it. Of course, you can listen at EdmontonSportsTalk.com. Somebody's saying, with the hat today, Tommy, did you shave your head? Is your head, in fact, shaved today?
No. My hair is a mess right now.
It still looks good, buddy.
I did get a haircut. I got a haircut.
What? Sorry, Chantal.
Yeah. I saw Chantal yesterday.
Holy
She gave me
smokes.
a beer. It was great.
She gave you a beer?
Times. Yeah, like old times.
You used to drink a lot with Chantal back in the day, or what?
No, you'd come in, you'd have a beer or a coffee, whatever. And then I was like, Chantal, what happened to the days where you used to give us beer or coffee? She's like, do you want a beer? And I was like, yeah, I want a beer if you're offering. She's like, I'll get you a beer. And it was a pleasant haircut. So no, I did not shave my head, but I did ask to get it like a little bit cleaner on the back and sides.
Big moment coming up in the Nielsen household. Speaking of haircuts,
what's going on?
Well, Marshall has always got his haircut at Beaner's,
okay.
and you get to sit in the police car, you get to watch a show and stuff. But he's ready. He goes, Daddy, next time you go for a haircut, I want to come with you. And I was like, oh my God, father-son haircut. This is going to be amazing. and the best part is that it's funny because we're sitting there talking and I said, well, I keep her pretty clean. Like when I go in, it's pretty basic. And he goes, Daddy, I get a 4 on the sides and I take a little off the top. And I was like, oh, that's what I get. I'm a 4 on the sides and a little off the top. So we're going to roll in and we're just going to tell the guy, same haircut for both of the Nielsen boys, please.
I like
and
this.
That's going to be good.
I'm very, very happy for both of you. I love how Marshall takes the initiative too. And he likes, I'm a big boy. Daddy, I'm sitting in the big chair. I'm getting my charts ready too, Daddy.
Yeah.
And I never had that opportunity because my dad was bald by the time I was born. So thank God, still got it.
You know what's funny is that I usually just hit up Mr. Barber until we have a official hair sponsor here at Edmonton Sports Talk. I will be going to Mr. Barber. It's close to my house, whatever.
Yeah.
But Marcia goes, Daddy, does the place we go, does it have TV with sports on it? I was like, my man, like he just wants to go get his hair cut and watch sports. He's 8 years old. He turns 9 next week. It's happening, Tommy. My little man is becoming a big man. You know,
I love it. I love it.
great.
Next thing you know, he's going to be sipping on bourbon and
oh my God.
And at the new location of Parlor Barbacoa inside Ice District in a 3-piece suit.
You know, somebody else suggested, are you super duper happy today because you're not all dressed up? Like you're pretty casual dressed, Tommy, today. Does that make you super happy?
No. I like putting on a suit.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Tommy likes to dress up.
I feel good. Today's a good day. It just feels like a good day. I don't know. I'm sorry. I'll dial it down.
I'll stop being so happy. People, can Tommy Gazzola just not be happy? Just let this man be happy.
I'm a happy boy today.
Dusty and Tommy with you here on the Oil Stream. If you're listening online, you can text us. Who's got questions about the game today? Who's got questions about the roster? Who's got questions about anything? 780-218-9999. 780-218-9999. Or you can hit us up in the nasty chat as well. The Oil Stream today and every single day presented to you by Boston Pizza, where on Tuesdays, you can just go have the greatest pasta, put it together, your own creation at an absolutely excellent deal. They also have the Sicilian one-footer, the Sicilian New York one-footer pizza, also available at Boston Pizza. And if you're looking for a place to watch the game tonight, there's, a million Boston Pizza lounges across the city. Slide on down there. $5 off of medium pizzas, dollars off of select tankers as well. And they got deals and shots at all of the Boston Pizza lounges as well. We will have 2 lunch hour oil streams in the month of March. Probably we're working on the Monday after the trade deadline day, and then 2 Mondays from that. So a couple of Mondays we'll be hitting up for a little bit oil stream lunch at Boston Pizza, which should be good. Tommy, Edmonton Oilers, looks like they're running it all back here from the morning skate today. Things going to Skinner between the pipes. Lines stay the same. Is that basically what we're going to see?
Yeah, Derek Ryan, even though he didn't practice yesterday, looks like he should be good to go. That's what Chris Knobloch was talking about today. And I mean, it was not a perfect game the other night against LA, but it was a good game. And I think that there was a little bit. I asked Chris Knobloch yesterday, I'm like, is there some relief, if for lack of a better term, getting that win, a little bit of payback against the Kings, creating a bit of separation, and he was more, he didn't go that far, but he did say that there were some elements of that game that they were very satisfied with. Now, are there things to work on? Yeah, absolutely. So it did work the other night. No, it was not perfect. And they're in a situation where they're going to give it another shot against a team in St. Louis or from St. Louis that gives them fits. A team from St. Louis that did what LA did to the Oilers a couple weeks ago. Same thing. The Blues took care of business at home against Edmonton in a game that wasn't very close. Sounds familiar to what happened against LA a couple of weeks ago at Crypto.com Arena. So almost a similar situation with these Blues, and they're kind of, on the cusp of a wild card berth. They're chasing one down, and are they sellers? Are they buyers? So, he's going to run back the same lineup. I think with Gagne, he's got him there as the extra forward. He doesn't have a burning desire, let's call it, to thrust him back into the lineup. So he's going to go back with the group that got the job done, and that includes Stuart Skinner, that probably wants to have a better outing against St. Louis compared to the one we saw a couple of weeks ago on the 15th.
Crypto.com Arena, I listened to a Lakers podcast, and they refer to it down there as the Crypt, which is, I like it. That's pretty cool, the Crypt, It's kind of a neat name for it. Like,
it's big and cavernous. Like, it is like huge. And there's like all kinds of different like sections to it that are like, oh, what's in there? Like they had a nightclub in there, Dusty.
What?
I went to a Lakers game. It was one of
I
Kobe's
says pardon?
I says pardon. I went to a Lakers game Kobe's last year. It was one of his, I think it was the 3rd or 4th last game he ever played at Crypto.com or Staples Center at the time.
Yeah.
And he was very selfish, lots of shooting, and he knew it was his show. The team, I don't think, was particularly great that year. And it was an Oilers client event, and they asked Bob, Jack, and myself to go as kind of like guests to like make it fun for the clients.
Mingle a bit.
Mingle and schmooze.
Yeah.
And we're like, where are these seats? I've never heard of this section. And it was literally a nightclub that had like a few rows of seats in it. And they had a DJ spinning and a dance floor. And like, there were all these people that were up there.
Was Stoff cutting it up? Was he cutting a rug?
No. Oh. No, he had a Red Bull vodka and was talking to Stoff loves the business folk.
Oh,
I
yeah,
do
of course.
too. Like, you know, it's part of what we do, but Bob has like a penchant for business folk, and he likes getting in the muck of politics and policy and this and that. And so he spent most of his time doing that. Jack Michaels, a little bit more out there, and likes to indulge. He was checking out the scene, and then I kind of looked at the dance floor and listened to the DJ, and I was like, this is pretty cool. Now, the thing is, when we went out to this Lakers game and sat in these nightclub seats, our clients, the OEG clients, were all in like their 70s and 80s, so it wasn't really their scene. Great idea, though.
They weren't crushing the club, eh?
No, they did not want to bust a rug, and they just wanted to watch the damn basketball game.
I love this. Rod Z's got the wrong show, but I'm here for it. Clippers are 7-1 following loss as favorites. Fade the Lakers tonight. That's straight out of the lock shop. I love it. Rod Z's still hanging around as we talk about the crypt where the Lakers will play the Clippers tonight. I'm trying to think. Rogers Place. Have we come up with a cool name for Rogers Place yet?
No,
there's no cool name really, right? Like, what about the look of it from up top? Is there something you could do there? Is there something you could do there?
It looks like a driver, like.
Yeah. It does look like the bottom of a driver head, but what are you supposed to do there? Like, that's not going to work.
No.
Yeah, I guess there's just really nothing. Like, it's a nice rink. We know it's a nice rink.
We know,
but there's nothing unique enough to come up with a great name about it. Yeah. Sean Bolger's in it. Says, what about the Raj Mahal instead of the Taj Mahal?
That's good.
The Raj Mahal is
really
actually
good.
Raj Mahal. I mean, did you just come up with that, or is that something that's been around a little bit and you stole it from somewhere? The Raj Mahal ain't bad. The barrel, the wave pool, the library. I thought Duck Dad classic.
Hey, Duck Dad, that's what Ryan Jones used to call Rexall Place.
Did he?
Actually, a bunch of the players called Rexall Place the library.
They called it the library.
That was the decade of darkness. They were incredibly bad, so it was understandable.
Wasn't a lot of reasons to be too happy about things. 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999 if you want to chime in there. And if you got any good ideas for what, like a cool handle, a cool nickname for Rogers Place. The Raj Mahal is by far the best one. The Raj Mahal.
Can I read this text that came in from Propane Pimp, my good friend?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
When will Tom leave Beaners and go to an adult hairdresser?
I didn't want to read it. I thought maybe you'd gloss over that one. I didn't want to get you fired up on your happy day.
I'm in a great mood.
On your happy day. Joelle's assuming you had a near-death experience, and now you're just grateful for life again, Tommy.
No, that didn't happen, but thank you, Joelle. That's very nice of you.
VA is in it, says, Stoffer can dance. Have you ever seen Stoff dance, friend of EST?
No. I've never once.
And you've known Stoff for a long, long time. You spent a lot of time on the road with Stoff. Doesn't dance ever, hey?
I've seen him in many different situations and scenarios. He is not a dancer. Not at all.
He's also not much of a golfer either.
No. He's a terrible golfer.
The Raj Mahal.
That's a good one.
Yeah, I don't mind that one actually. All right, we'll get to the Blues. What time's pregame show get going tonight, Tommy?
5
o'clock.
5.
Right after work. That works out well for everybody. Swing by after work. Tommy will be at Hudson's tonight for the pre and post game show here on Edmonton Sports Talk. I have a bunch of GCs kicking around as well, so you can go see him at Hudson's on White tonight. So we'll get to that.
LTE's coming too.
I know. He said today, like I thought he was kind of joking about it because I know the one over the mall he'll pop over too quickly. Lives right next to him. He goes, I'm going down to see Tommy tonight. It's like, wow, I got power skating tonight with Marshall, so I won't even be home till like 6. So I won't be there. But Lieutenant Eric will represent both of us.
I did tell him to wear something voluptuous,
Oh,
maybe with some cleavage, so that I give him a $50
get a gift
GC.
certificate for him.
I see the jokes happening. I see them. I've been mentioned in a few of them on Twitter.
Did you see
or
the
X or
one
whatever.
reply last night with Bart Simpson dressing up as a girl and be like, going to get ready to get that $50 GC from Tommy Gazzola?
Yeah, I saw that. It was pretty funny.
Oh, that was too
I
good.
don't know how to distribute them. They give me stacks of those. It's like, here, you want this, you want that. How many am I supposed to give you? Am I supposed to give you 10, 20, 50? I don't know. Am I supposed to give you guys on the morning show the $50 GCs to give away?
Well, we've been giving away some
no
50s.
idea.
You got to give us some 50s here for the office.
So I do need to save
We got to
some
give
of them.
away some 50s here. Yeah, save some of them.
All right.
Save some of them. If I have to put on the wig for
Okay.
you again, I'll put on the wig for you again. But we do need some of
Please
those
do.
50s kicking around here. Marty in the nasty chat says, Tom, will you show Jack Michaels how to coordinate his shirt and ties? Thank you.
I've tried. I have tried.
He's
and
going for that look, though, right? Like he's going for the mismatch look.
He loves the clashing. He loves loud. He loves just being in your face with his style, and he's told the Sportsnet clothing consultants that's his thing.
That's his thing.
And they go after it with him. So that's Jack. He's brash. He's bold. And I've tried, and I've mocked him mercilessly, and then he mocks me for being too like passive and conservative with my look. And I'm just like, you know what, bro? You dress like it's 2004. Live in the now. Live in the now.
As a guy who spends probably 5.5 months worth of weekends in suits throughout the summer and fall, I tend to keep it pretty classic, I think I would say. The tie goes with the suit. I'm
Right.
usually wearing brown shoes. They kind of go with everything. And I just roll plain white shirts. It's simple to do that. It looks classy to me. It looks real classy. I have 2 suits that I would describe as kind of out there a little bit. And I only wear those when I'm working with Dunnigan, because I know Dunnigan's going to roll in with something that's crazy. So I'm like, you know what? I'll wear my yellow checkered plaid sort of suit today. But that's the only time you'll ever catch me in anything crazy like that.
Yeah, Dunnigan, he brings it. Although we did the thing with Zapato Sanchez.
Yes,
and I'm
the
looking forward
shoes.
to seeing how her shoes turned out.
Wait, I don't even think we can do the contest that we wanted to, because as soon as people see our 2 shoes, they're going to be like, Tommy designed those ones, Dusty designed those ones. You know what I mean? Like, there's not, we can ask which one looks better, obviously, but I don't think we do a guessing game of who's or whose. But yeah, that should be good. Todd Gack is in this. Says Dusty needs to tell CFL and TSN that the chin strap is his thing. Right? That would be great. That would be great with Chin Strap Awareness Month coming up here right away. What better way to end the stigma than by being on national television every single weekend of the summer with a chin strap? I think that would go a long way. I can't even be beard guy on TV. I got to be clean shaven babyface guy on TV.
Works for me.
My own choice on that one. But yeah, still. The oil can. Where do we come out on the oil can? Could it kind of look like an oil can if you tipped it over and poured it out above 104th, you know, like.
Yeah, maybe. I like Raj Mahal.
Raj Mahal sounds way better. And
Oil can.
Raj Mahal
like,
sounds good for Tales of the North too. Tonight at Raj Mahal. Like,
yeah. Hey, oil can, it ties in perfectly with the team. It's the heart of our industry in this province, obviously. A lot of good, hardworking people in that line of work. But the Raj Mahal,
that's
it's
so
like,
good.
Look at this. This is the place of hockey in our fine city.
Yes.
So that's why I kind of lean to that.
I don't mind that one. 780-218-9999. 780-218-9999.
I like how Alexis says, I love Arizona. Yes, she knows me well. I do love Arizona.
You do love Arizona very much, don't you?
I know.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does.
I'm like D'Angelo Vickers. I love the Southwest.
All right. Somebody earlier, about 10 minutes ago, we kind of got carried away, said, Tommy, have they shot Connor Brown up into the press box yet, or does he remain in the lineup? And then I tweeted out, does Connor Brown need to be in the lineup for penalty killing purposes? Tommy, what do you think? I mean,
not really.
No. Like, if they were to add 1 or 2 forwards, and we'll talk about Buchnevich obviously here as we work our way through today. And
yes.
I joked about in the lock shop there will be 18,000 scouts watching Buchnevich tonight as the Oilers take on the St. Louis Blues. But if they were to bump, let's say they bring in 2 forwards, somehow without moving one out. Is Connor Brown still in the lineup?
No.
Because he would come
Not
out.
a chance. And probably Derek Ryan.
Probably Derek Ryan, because Matthias Janmark would stay in there with Fogle. Like, yeah.
Yeah. You're not getting rid of a top 6 like Matthias Janmark. What are we talking about here? That was a joke.
I thought I was going to let you have your Matthias Janmark moment. So
no, I didn't. I don't need a Matthias Janmark moment. I'm very happy for him, but let's not kid ourselves. He's moonlighting, and that time is dwindling up there.
So they don't need to have Connor Brown in there for penalty killing purposes. And it's also not like the penalty kill's been red hot for the last 3 weeks or whatever it is.
Better the last 2 games, but it's been leaky. They crept back up into 15th in the league on the PK, which is nice.
So middle of the pack in the National Hockey League on the penalty kill. This is a huge game tonight just to salvage the homestand. Like, if they lose tonight, Tommy, 3 of a possible 10 points on the homestand is a disaster. If they win tonight, they get 5 of a possible 10. That's a lackluster homestand. Like, you didn't lose any ground. You didn't gain any ground. You managed to basically get through it. And then we'll see. I mean, if they were to get to overtime or shootout tonight, gain 1 point, 4 out of a possible 10 points on a 5-game homestand is also not a good homestand at all. So, I mean, the homestand being even acceptable comes down to tonight.
I would even make the argument, regardless of today's result,
it's still bad.
Homestand has not been good. It's not been a good homestand. They did not get the results. We were saying 3 wins. Could they push to 4? Could they wake up? Could they clean up their game? None of that happened for the first 3. And then they kind of got 3 wake-up calls, let's call it. And they finally played a better game against the Kings and got the result. And that was a nice relieving result. But it's still, as a whole, this 5-gamer, underwhelming. You needed at least a 3 wins, right? Like, you've all of a sudden, now you're looking behind you in the rearview mirror. You've got 2 teams that are 2 points back of you, and it's all because you let it slip away. You didn't show up against Minnesota. You didn't show up for the majority of the game against Calgary. Those were winnable games. You pissed them away. This has been a disappointing homestand. Even if they get the win today to salvage 5 out of the possible 10 points, disappointing. I think it has not gone that well.
Now, I thought you said that if they got 6 out of 10, you'd consider it good.
I said 3-1-1 would have been nice. And 3 wins. 3 wins.
Yeah, okay, that would get you 7. That would get you 7 points. Yeah. 3 wins would be nice. Right. Yeah, if they get the 2, it's 2 wins. They got another point there.
And it's who they lost to, how they lost to Minnie and Calgary. Like, that's Boston, you knew it was going to be tough. And they salvaged the point against the Bruins. It was an exciting game to watch, back and forth. They claw their way back into it. And you go, okay, maybe they're going to have something good. A little bit of jam against Minnie. No, none. They lose. Then the next night, they get the Calgary Flames. All right, they're going to wake up for this game. No, they have a terrible first period. They make the same stupid mistakes in the neutral zone, in their D zone, coughing up pucks, bad gaps. Not helping out their goalies, bad rebounds by their goalies. Like, there were so many things that were disappointing about that weekend that it really put a damper on this homestand. I think that this has been a bad homestand.
Derek says, I took my son to his first NHL game on Friday versus Minnie. Need a do-over for him. What a disaster that was.
Yeah.
And we had multiple people today text in. One guy's taking his 8 and 9-year-old kids to the game for the first time ever. Another guy's taking his 8-year-old son who's celebrating a birthday to the game tonight as well. And like, there's always those people going to an Oilers game for the first time every single game. And that's why you always want to see them have success so those people go home happy, because going to your first NHL game and watching your favorite team, you take an ass kicking. I mean, that's for a kid, that's devastating. Those are tears. Like, those are tears on the way out. I know. I have them at home. Those are tears. And that makes it for a really tough night and like an awful, memorable experience. They got to deliver the dub for all the noobs every time.
Hey, I vividly recall watching the Oilers of the 90s get pumped by like Ottawa. They lost to Ottawa when Ottawa just came into the league and were absolutely atrocious. I saw them lose to Buffalo Sabres, Craig Simpson and the Buffalo Sabres, who weren't a particularly strong team at that point, I don't believe, if I recall correctly. I did get to see Jaromir Jagr in his heyday with the crazy hair coming out the back, the curly mullet. I think the Oilers did win that game, but I watched a lot of Oilers games where they just got pummeled. And so those kids going to their first games now, I didn't have Connor McDavid to watch.
Yeah, that's true.
I had Scott Thornton and like Sean Podine, a young Doug Waite, sure, but like Kelly Buchberger, and watching Bucky get into a fight and hopefully not get beat up. And now that I'm friends with Kelly Buchberger, I feel like I can say that comfortably.
A sprinkling of sprinkling of Gauger mixed in.
Joaquin Gage, I had the good fortune of watching him go in relief of Bill Ranford, who got absolutely shelled because he had a porous defense in front of him, where Luke Richardson was their best D-man and Boris Smirnov was coming in and just finding himself. So yeah, I feel for the kids that go and watch the Oilers lose now, but at least they're watching McDavid and Draisaitl, Nugent Hopkins and Hyman. Whereas I had like Kent Manderville and Kirk Maltby in comparison.
Oh, they were a rebuilding group, right? Rebuilding group. Yeah, they were definitely rebuilding there. I think one of my favorite Gauger stories ever, he told it on like episode 3 of Two Guys and a Goal. They were almost at 400. And it was good. He basically said he remembers one time after they announced like, and starting in net, Joaquin Gage, and he heard somebody in the stands be like, "Oh, not that guy again!" Like, and I'm just like, my God, like that's gotta suck starting a hockey game like that. Like that is that's a really tough look.
Dusty, and those years were pretty lean. Like it was after like the dynasty guys had been all traded. Kalo was gone. Mac T was traded. And they really were rebuilding, and there were maybe 10,000 people in the stands for those games. So it got quiet. It was a library back then. And so somebody yelling that after the announcement, I think, you could hear it back then. And that was a smaller building too.
Nielson and Gazzola with you here on the Oil Stream. Brought to you in part by our partners over at CoolBet, where I do have the EST parlay. It has been posted. We hit this thing on Monday's game, which was nice. It was a little bit different, but we did have McDavid over 2.5 points. We also had a Draisaitl goal. He got that. And then we had Zach Hyman point. He ended up having a goal in that game. Tonight we're going to go with an Evan Bouchard point. So we've got Connor McDavid, 2+ points. Leon Draisaitl with a goal. Evan Bouchard with a point. And the Edmonton Oilers to win tonight in regulation, which helps bump that number up a little bit, is currently plus 475 if you want to hop over to coolbet.com and check that out. If you've not yet signed up for an account at CoolBet, you can use the code LOCKSHOP, all one word, LOCKSHOP, all one word, and you'll get a 100% deposit bonus on your initial deposit up to $200. McJesus is in and says, at least you got Doug Waite, Tommy. 10-year-old me was the full-on Cogliano 1C hype train.
Oh, I was already covering the team by then. It was painful, too. And yes, you're right. Doug Waite, young Doug Waite, Jason Arnott, they were good.
Derek S. is in and says, my first Oiler player autograph was Marius Cherkasky. That's one you keep for a while, isn't it?
I have a good Cherkasky story. I don't know if it's fit for today, but I have a good one.
Well,
should I
save it? I don't know. Is it dirty or something? Or is it like...
No, it's not dirty.
Oh, well, just tell the story then. Yeah, that's
all
fine.
All right, really quickly. So I covered the World Championships in 2012, and Mariusz Cherkasky was doing the Polish TV broadcast of the World Championships. And I'm like, Mom, I text my mom from Finland. I'm like, I'm pretty sure that's Mariusz Cherkasky over there doing Polish TV. She's like, you need to go talk to him. You know who his wife was? She's like a princess in Poland, and she was a Bond girl. And I was like, I don't really want to, but I guess if I told him I'm from Edmonton and my mom's from Poland, then he'll probably talk to me. Well, guess what? I went and I told him, I'm like, hey, I'm from Edmonton, work for the Oilers, blah, blah, blah. I remember my mom's from Poland. He would not leave me alone for the next 10 days. At first, I thought it was amazing. I'm like, oh, this is cool. This guy's so nice and this and that. Second day, great conversation. Third day, great conversation. But you just know, you're like, oh my God, I'm the only person he's talking to. And by day 8, I'm like, oh, there's Marius. I better just like stay in my seat.
So you're creeped out by Mariusz Cherkasky.
No, I just had too much Mariusz Cherkasky.
Mariusz Cherkasky overload.
Yeah. And I couldn't bring up GoldenEye. So, Marius, GoldenEye, must have been a nice time for you, because they're not together anymore. They got divorced.
So you couldn't do that. Duck Dad is in and says, this is what I tune in for. Mariusz Cherkasky stories. And I am not kidding. Well, there we go. We're glad we managed to get that one for you today.
He's a very nice man.
The Oil Stream brought to you in part by One Putt Virtual Golf, one of the best and most accurate indoor golf places in the city. Serious, casual golfers. They've got 6 TrackMan bays, which makes it the perfect place to golf and hang out with your friends while catching the Oilers game and crushing some EST 6 o'clock or lager, which they do have in the can there. Spring League has started. It started on the 26th, but sign up goes for the rest of this week. 8 weeks, guaranteeing that you'll be able to finish up before the outdoor golf season starts. You can sign up right now, $360. It includes 8 hours of golf and your league fees. Winner of the season will get a brand new driver valued at over $800, along with weekly prizes as well. Like I said, sign up for the Spring League. Continues until the end of this week. So to learn more about it, check them out, www.oneputt.ca/Spring League, or follow their Instagram account at OnePuttYEG. My first Oiler game was against St. Louis. We lost 7-2 back when Dubnyk was in net. Tough outing. That's from YEG Sparky chiming in as well. I'm pretty sure, because I grew up in Cranbrook, so I would go to the odd Calgary Flames game, and that was it, right? Short drive. Then I went up and worked in Fort Mac. When I came here, the first Oilers game I ever went to, I was working, and I'm pretty sure it was the Jordan Eberle goal against the Calgary Flames.
That was your first one?
I think that was my very first game. For some reason, I think that is. What year was that goal?
2010. 2010?
Was it?
That's when we met.
Was it 2010?
Yeah.
In, like, early in the season in 2010-11?
Game 1.
Yeah. I think that would have been. No, I started in 2009.
Did you work that game for the score? Remember?
No, I was just there. I was just there for 1260 at the time. I did work for the score after you went to Oilers TV.
Yeah.
I did that for about a year, and then I think they kind of killed that. Well, I don't know. That wasn't in 2009. That was 2010.
That was definitely 2010.
No, that must have been the beginning of the second year, because I came in the late summer of 2009, so I would have had that season. So yeah, but that's the first memory I have of being there. That was the
Pat Quinn year, where you'd be like, "Hey Pat, how about that blue line
he was
today?"
Hilarious.
And then he would talk about 1958.
He was hilarious.
Going to the Polish church and getting married, and then going across the street playing curling for 10 matches, drinking beer, smoking cigarettes, and eating donuts. And then he'd bring it back to the game 20 minutes later. You're like, wow, that was painful. He was crazy.
Pavel Buchnevich, probably top 5 on most deadline trade bait boards, kind of kicking around. 5.8 mil this year and next. Point per game guy since arriving in St. Louis. Having another nice year now. The fact that he's under contract is going to drive that value up a little bit more, I would think. Tommy, how high would this guy be on the list? If St. Louis, if the Oilers beat St. Louis tonight, St. Louis might just be pushed right into seller's mode. We'll have to see, unless they can go on a bit of a run prior to the deadline. So how high would Buchnevich be on the list of pieces prior to the deadline that the Edmonton Oilers should try to add?
He's definitely being discussed by the Oilers. That's something I do know. Where he's at, how much of a fit he would be, that's subjective. I think he would be a nice add. Obviously, he's a point-a-game guy. What does he have? 190 points in the last 192 games played that he's played for the Blues. Now, there's some questions that need to be asked. Yes, the Oilers would be interested. Yes, they'll make calls. And yes, they'll try to find out what the Blues would want. However, there's the 12-team no-trade list that he has. Would he waive to come to Edmonton? I don't know. Does he really want to win a Stanley Cup? Does he see a better opportunity maybe with a Vegas Golden Knights or another team that might be chasing him? The New York Rangers look like they want to get him back. So those are questions that only he can really answer. But yeah, he would be a guy that would fit really nicely on the Oilers. Is there concern, Dusty, with him only having 1 goal in the postseason in 20 games played? Does have 12 points. This is supposed to be a team building up for a deep playoff run, right? But he would definitely be a nice add. So it's interesting. How the Oilers make it work would definitely be tricky. We know that any trade that they make, whoever they pick up, if there's a guy out there that, we might not be aware of that's available and the Oilers all of a sudden make a deal for, like they did with Ekholm last year.
Yeah.
How do they make the money work? Who goes the other way? Is it just a package of a first rounder and a prospect? Those are still the things that are up in the air. But Buchnevich is a guy that is on their target list. He's a guy that they have been discussing. But it depends on the St. Louis side of things too. If they drop out of this playoff race because they're 6 points back of a wild card spot going in action, they've gone 4-6 in the last 10. This could put them into seller mode here.
It'll be interesting because if they do say, okay, screw it, we're selling, not going to be able to sign Buchnevich long term. They got some money tied up, and obviously the Kyrous and the Thomases, and considering the way he plays, he's going to probably want north of $8 million because that's what those guys are getting, and this is one big chance to sort of sign that contract because he's 28 years old. So if this is identified as, all right, come and get him, straight up bidding war for this guy, right? Like somebody texted in earlier. We had Andy Strickland on Nielsen's show today. Somebody's like, hey, Dusty, you got to ask Andy, what's the price tag going to be on Buchnevich, and how's he going to look in Vegas? And that's kind of just like, but I kind of chuckled just like you. And then I was like, you might be right. Yeah. Like you might be right. Like Vegas goes out. They're very aggressive about these things. They've obviously found themselves a little bit of LTIR space that they can take advantage of. That's just a kick in the nuts though to Oilers fans. If they're like, oh my God, the Oilers are interested in Buchnevich. Oh, and St. Louis has made him available. And what's this? Oh, what breaking news? Vegas got him. Yeah. Okay, but it seems kind of realistic to me. Like all of these top end teams, if they can make it work financially, they're going to want to get their hands on this guy. This is not going to be an easy trade to go out and win the day.
Right. He is being shopped, by the way. That's the other thing I was told too. So I know that Doug Armstrong has kind of been coy a little bit, but sounds like he is definitely being shopped. That's why Friedman and everybody's putting his name out there. So that's worth noting. But if Vegas gets him, I mean, Barbashev was a great get for him last year. And that's just, you're adding these nice depth pieces and guys that can pop and score timely goals and play the game the right way. Like, damn, if you pull off a Buchnevich trade and you've got Mark Stone on the shelf until the start of the playoffs, brilliant. I mean, not that they're not faking a spleen laceration. That would be ridiculous.
Oh, but they'll give it more time to rest.
You can massage that timeline.
You're telling me you don't think Vegas has massaged a spleen in the past? Of course they have, right? So
they've got the best spleen masseuse in the world right now.
The best thing about the Golden Knights and some of these other teams is that their training staff can get people healthy just when they need them, which is just
right when you need.
It's really impressive. Really impressive. Yeah, not as impressive as a Popeyes chicken sandwich. But portions of the oil stream brought to you by the Popeyes Louisiana Kitchen Sandwich, as is our studio right here at Edmonton Sports Talk. The Oilers deal has come and gone, but that doesn't mean the delicious food is no more. You can find that, of course, at Popeyes. You get the blackened chicken sandwich is one of my recommendations. And I've had a few people say, Dusty, you were right. I was a regular chicken sandwich guy until I got on that blackened chicken sandwich train, and it was absolutely life-changing. So you can dive into that at all, and there are many, but at all of your locations of Popeyes, and they are all over the place on the west end, a little bit further out west, down at the mall. Basically, as you work your way across the city, you throw a stone, and you hit a Popeyes. There's that many of them here in the city. 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999. RCN is in and says 2 firsts for Buchnevich. What do you think?
Ask.
So
sounds like that's what they're asking for.
So would you give that? Would you give that up? That's it, right? That's the big one. You get him for this year. You get him for next year in the playoffs. So you're investing your next 2 first rounders, which should be extremely late in the first round. Have to remember that. They're not giving up top 10 picks here.
Yeah, good point.
I think somebody pays it, or they at least pay a first rounder and a guy who was recently drafted in the first round. And then you have to think about the retention element of it as well, Tommy. Like there's going to be a little bit more here to have St. Louis retain what is necessary for the Edmonton Oilers to pull this thing off.
Yeah, if you're looking at it from an Oilers standpoint, I think maybe, you take a look around, and if you don't strike a deal with some other potential top 6 guys with other teams, and you circle back and you go, well, Buchnevich is there. We have an offer. St. Louis is waiting for us. Do you pull the trigger and make it happen? If it gets to that circumstance, and it is 2 first rounders or a first rounder and a guy that's like a first round quote unquote type prospect, and you're convinced that he's the guy for you to put you over the top, slot guys better lower in the lineup, improve your bottom six that way, then yes, go for it. If you're Ken Holland, this is your last hurrah. This is your last dance. I don't know if there's going to be a documentary on you, but this is it. And I think he wants to go out on top and show all the naysayers that have dogged him during his last few years in Detroit, and have still kind of been on his case in 4 relatively good years in Edmonton. That would be a sweet way for him to kind of give them the salute back, right? So I think if it gets to that circumstance where it's like, okay, we can pull off this Buchnevich deal. We couldn't get our target A, our target B, or target C, but he's there. And do we think that he does put us over the top if you're the Oilers, hypothetically? Yeah, he'd probably make that deal. I think.
Your thoughts on it to the Nasty Chat or at 780-218-9999 Northside Sandwiches. I would do 2 firsts if they retain half of him. Eric Stewart says 2 firsts plus Fogle. And with the money that they're building up towards the cap, you wouldn't need much retention there if Fogle did go the other way. But then you also really wouldn't have anything left to maybe add a fourth line center or a depth
or an actual defenseman.
or a depth defenseman as well, right? If the Oilers put all of their eggs in the Buchnevich basket and don't have anything left to help the blue line at all, I think that's an unwise decision heading into the postseason, right? You gotta be able to sprinkle things around a little bit, which is why you pay a little bit more, get more retained, and have some money left to spend on a D-man.
Yeah. I mean, you want your whole team to be improved, not just one element of it, while taking away from or not bolstering the back end. You can't go into this with 6 healthy D-men and hope Philip Broberg can somehow figure out how to play in the NHL effectively. That's a women of prayer, man.
Would you rather give up 2 firsts or a first and Dylan Holloway for him?
I'd be reluctant to give up Dylan Holloway. I like where Dylan Holloway's headed, honestly.
So you'd rather give up the 2 firsts? Like, you don't know what those firsts are going to end up being. At least you know you have an NHL player in Dylan Holloway with upside, right? You don't know. You don't have a clue what Dylan Holloway is yet.
Yeah, I think he's going to be a good NHL player. And to give him away on a Buchnevich, it's tempting, but I would be reluctant to do it.
Gavis Con. I don't know if I've ever read that handle before in the Nasty Chat. Welcome aboard. Give us a sub here at Edmonton Sports Talk if you don't mind doing so. Guys, look at Florida last night. Sam Bennett said that they are fine-tuning their defensive play. Oilers need to fix that first and get bigger for a playoff run. Drop Ryan, drop Brown. So we'll see if some of those guys get moved down the lineup a little bit, if that is indeed the case for the Oilers here prior to the deadline. The Oilers don't need to fine-tune their defensive game. They just need to get it back. It's not like even against the Kings they were great defensively, Tommy, right? Like, they still gave up quite a few looks. Skinner just happened to be pretty darn good last game.
He made 38 saves.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it wasn't like they all of a sudden held the Kings to 24 shots and you're like, defensive game's fixed. That's just not what it was.
No, there were still errors in that game. And I mean, you look at that goal that who was it? Laferriere scored. What was Evan Bouchard doing? Terrible. Bad gap control. Swing and a miss. Turns away. Looks to go back and check Anze Kopitar. Doesn't even lift his stick. Kopitar finds Laferriere, who casually puts it home past Stuart Skinner. Like, I think that's a prime example of the defensive game not being fixed. It's just they made strides in the right direction the other night.
Oilers and St. Louis Blues tonight. Tommy will have the pregame show for you. He'll be live on location at Hudson's on White at 5 o'clock. Postgame coverage to follow as well. Gus in the Nasty Chat chiming in and saying, Holloway equals McLeod. I would rather keep Holloway as he's a more physical player, but they're basically the same guy. If one has to go, so be it. I think Gus kind of contradicted himself there by saying that they're the same guy, but Holloway is more physical. I think that separates them. Like, Dylan Holloway is a much, much more physical and aggressive player than Ryan McLeod. I think you want both of them on this team into the postseason and for a playoff push, or as we call it around here on the Nielsen Show, a Stanley Cup run. I think you want both of those guys on there. But I don't see. I mean, I know they both move very well, but to me, they're not that similar of player.
No, maybe Gavis Concon, was it?
No, that was Gus. That was Gus this time.
Oh, that was Gus. Yeah. Sorry. I just couldn't
Don't you dare misquote Gavis Concon.
I shall never do that again. I promise. Maybe Gus is looking at the overall results point wise and just like their general effectiveness right now. I think the way Dylan Holloway plays will have more of an impact on games. He could play different types of styles. He could play in your face. He could play skill. He could be a shooter. He could be a grinder and muck it up. I don't think he can be defined yet as what type of player he is at the NHL level. He's got 79 games under his belt. There's so much left for him to do to mold himself at this level. And I do think he will be a higher end player and a top 6 guy as opposed to McLeod, who can moonlight, again, using moonlight as a term, in the top 6. But I think McLeod, the plan is still for him to be the third line center, penalty kill guy, maybe second line power play, but a lesser role. Whereas Holloway, I think when the time comes to move on from Evander Kane, might be ready to step up into a role like that.
I'm never going to tell somebody to not shoot their shot, but I have been saying on the Nielsen Show, if you're going to send in trade proposals, do your homework. Show us your homework. Show us what the deal is. Don't just text in and say, hey, if they don't get Buchnevich, say, no, tell us what the plan is. What's the deal? So
give us a plan.
Derek S. is in on the Nasty Chat. This was a little while ago, but I'm going to get to it. Buchnevich and Parayko. Okay, so you can say that, but show us your homework, right? That's what you have to do.
The Parayko dream will never die.
It won't. Here's the deal. Here's the trade. Buchnevich and Parayko for Ceci, Holloway, Kulak, Raphael Lavoie, and 2 first-rounders. Which let me just settle down here. If the asking price on Buchnevich is 2 first-rounders, then we're saying Parayko for Ceci, Holloway, Kulak, and Raphael Lavoie, which, God love Colton Parayko, came to our 1260 golf tournament a few times, can absolutely hammer the ball. He's just a great dude, but that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's a lot.
It's a lot.
That's a lot.
It's a lot. And then you're rolling, then you're going to the playoffs with Broberg and Desharnais as your third pair. And I'm sorry, in the National Hockey League playoffs against Vegas or against the forward group that they got rolling in Vancouver right now, or even the forward group of the Los Angeles Kings, Broberg and Desharnais aren't going to be able to handle significant minutes in any way, shape, or form come playoff time. I just don't think that'll be the case. I just don't think you can do that. I love it. You showed your homework. I'll give you bonus points for that. But I just don't. No, it's not going to happen. Trevor Archibald says he would give up the picks before Holloway, and that scenario that we were talking a little bit earlier. Wilson, the volleyball is in, and this would be, I think, in regards to Parayko. Oilers fans love doing trades for guys that are 3 to 5 years too late. Right? But with that, now I will say this.
I'm not saying anything. I'm not saying anything.
I'll say that they have been sending in Parayko trade proposals for the last 3 to 5 years, right?
For years.
Yeah. So we like the fan base did get that prime Parayko trade proposal time as well, right? So,
they did.
Yeah.
I remember my first year at TSN 1260. There was well, what about Parayko? He's a good St. Albert boy. It's yeah, but St. Louis wants him. And then they went and won the cup with him. The next year, what about Parayko? What about Parayko the next year? And then the next year, what about Parayko? This year, what about Parayko? I admire it. I admire
You realize what happens. Parayko ends up here when he's 38, right? And people are finally.
I was just going to say
I knew that they'd get him. I knew that they'd get him.
They were going to get him all along. Yeah.
Took a decade and a half, but you finally brought him home. So it's that's a good one. I like that one a lot. St. Louis.
He's a very nice kid.
Yeah, he's awesome.
He's
a really nice guy. We had him on 2 Guys and a Goalie during the pandemic, I think, and it was a really good chat. It was a really good interview.
Yeah.
All right, so this is what the Blues are throwing at you tonight. Tommy will obviously get you set up for this game even more so coming up here with pregame at 5 o'clock on Edmonton Sports Talk. You can listen on TuneIn. You can listen on iHeart. You can listen at edmontonsportstalk.com, or, of course, you can watch on YouTube or download all the podcasts after the fact as well. Robert Thomas between Jordan Kyrou and Buchnevich. Schenn, Neighbors, and Bolduc. Kevin Hayes with Torchenko and Brandon Saad. Nathan Walker, Oscar Sundqvist, and Nikita Alexandrov. Jake Neighbors, what a season he's having here. Isn't he a former Edmonton Oil King, man? 19 goals already?
Yeah. And he's just like a scrappy guy. He's not the biggest guy, and he's just plays the game the right way. This is a feel-good story. Like, I think he scored 2 goals on the dad's trip, and he had his dad in the stands, and I love it. And talking to Rogan Dean from the Oil Kings and a bunch of their staff, they love Jake Neighbors. Was he not the captain, if I recall correctly? So this is nice, and I'm enjoying. I'm one of those people that like is cheering and rooting for him to have an excellent NHL career, and he'll be a big part of the Blues' future. But he'll be a thorn in the side of the Oilers tonight. How's that?
Well, the Oilers got some guys who can be a little thorny as well if they wish. On the back end, Nick Leddy in future Edmonton Oiler, Colton Parayko, Torrey Krug, Justin Falk, Marco Scandella, and Tyler Tucker back there as well. Like this St. Louis team. Do you think the Blues should be higher in the standings right now, like a little bit? I thought they might have been one of the teams that could push for a wild card this year, and they need a couple of good weeks to get there, but they're not there right now. So I think I'd say I'm somewhat disappointed in the St. Louis Blues this year, but I wasn't expecting them to go and finish top 3 in a division or anything.
No, I don't think they have very good depth. Like, even their top 6 don't wow you. Like, Braden Schenn's great. Robert Thomas, he's on the up and up. Kyrou, up and down. Obviously, Buchnevich has been good, but Neighbors is a young up-and-comer. But, like, Kasperi Kapanen, Oscar Sundqvist, Nathan Walker, mate, Torchenko. Like, Saad's a good bottom sixer, but that lineup doesn't scream look out by any means. So, I don't know, Dusty. I think they're right where they should be.
Like for tonight, the 2 wingers with Braden Schenn, Jake Neighbors hasn't 100 games in the National Hockey League.
Yeah.
First rounder. Bolduc on the other side's played like 3. He was a first rounder in 2021. So I mean, their second line is young. It's young. Like this is interesting. Like St. Louis has been this team that sort of transitioned on the go, kind of, right? Like they moved away from the O'Reillys and those guys and the Schwartzes. And elevated Robert Thomas and elevated Jordan Kyrou. And these guys have actually done relatively well, but there's different in coming in and having a lot of individual success and then also being the same guys who can sort of carry a team. And Braden Schenn is still there to kind of serve that purpose. But now they're and Brandon Saad and Kevin Hayes and those guys, but they're also trying to work in some young guys at the exact same time. And that's hard to do. I think they're doing it better than most, as opposed to like not having to bottom out, but still sort of turn the team over to the next group. Yep. But I think because of that, you're probably still a few years away from filling other pieces in around that young core, seeing if the young core can develop the way you want it to, and then actually finding a way to have more success. Yeah,
and if their goalie doesn't want to fight on a particular night and wants to actually play goalie, he's actually one of the best in the league. So it's an interesting group, but yeah, young, like you said. I think that they're kind of where they should be, and I don't see them making the postseason. And I do figure that they're going to be sellers because, I mean, that's been their trend the last couple of years, as you called it, the turnover, like turning over a garden in the spring, which is right around the corner.
Old spring Tommy says, Tommy, you realize it's going to be like minus 14 for like the next 10 days, hey?
I'm not paying.
You're not even caring about it. He's not even caring about it, this guy.
Yeah, I don't want to know about it. Leave it out of my business. I do have one other note to pass along, though, really quickly, just in regard to trade deadline. I know we're getting closer and closer here. I've been told from an Oilers point of view, nothing crazy yet, and there's nothing close just yet either. So there you go. If anybody's getting all excited, but I know it's relatively quiet right now.
So nothing close for the Oilers right now.
That was as of this morning.
Yeah, well, and I don't know if it was the Oil Stream that we talked about it. I think it was probably on Monday. Maybe it was something else yesterday. But like I would be surprised if they do anything before deadline day. Every single day they're freeing up a little bit more cap space to get something to add. So if you were to move this Friday, that's a week of cap space that you are not going to be able to spend properly. So
right.
I think it'll be sort of day of stuff for the Edmonton Oilers, which is great for us because we're going to have full coverage of the deadline right here on Edmonton Sports Talk. So it should be good.
Yeah. And Dusty, if you look at both conferences, like there's still teams as of today that are pretty much still in the mix. Like a good week can get them right into a wild card spot. A bad week can take them right out. So it's going down to the wire.
Oil Stream brought to you by Boston Pizza. And we are working on 2 dates if you want to throw them into the old calendar, everybody. It's likely going to be March 11th and March 25th. And we'll get the locations for you, but those will be on location shows at Boston Pizza on a Monday at lunch. So after the weekend, you can swing on by and see us March 11th and March 25th. Of course, on March 11th, there will still be trade deadline day fallout, which should be a lot of fun as well. And then come March 25th, it's time to get rolling on in towards the home stretch in April as well. Marty's in and says, Tommy, please reveal your Oilers source. I'll say it's Stoffer. Back to Stoff once again. The guy can't get away from us. Do you want
Fantasyland or do you want stuff that might actually happen?
Ooh. Tommy, you're too happy. Don't get fired up about this.
I'm too happy.
You're too happy. Don't get fired up.
It's not
Don't get fired up about
Clearly
sources, right? Don't do that.
Bob gave me crap the other day.
What?
Because he's like, I asked him something and he's like, why don't you go ask your source? And I was like, ooh.
Jeez.
All right then. Yeah.
Wow. So are you guys on the outs?
No, we're still very good friends. It's all good. But you know how he gets in a mood every now and then? He's well, you go and ask your source. Like, okay, I will. Like, I just want to have a conversation with my friend.
Sorry, my friend. I guess you can't join us.
And then Jack and I had a conversation, and Bob got jealous.
So he got back in on it?
No, he didn't. I'm kidding. I'm just making this last part up.
Machine Gun Yanmark says, Charlie Lindgren, Nick Dowd, Mantha, 3-piece combo. Let's go. Wow. You're not messing around. Ooh. I like that one. And Gaviscon Con. Let's wrap with that. Gaviscon Con. Take a page out of Brad Holmes, Detroit Lions GM. You don't have to tell me. I am a Detroit Lions fan, Gaviscon Con, a.k.a. Dollar Store GM. Draft well and acquire guys that are cheap. No point in selling the future for a mediocre forward, in my opinion. So we'll see what happens. Everybody scout Buchnevich tonight, and I want the full reports on the post game tonight and on the Nielson show tomorrow right here at Edmonton Sports Talk, and then we'll make a determination. We will determine if he's the right fit for the Oilers, 100% based only on this game tonight. That's the only reasonable way to do it, Tommy.
I agree wholeheartedly. This has been a totally fun hour of our fine show, which is, in my opinion, the best show in the land.
Oh, my goodness. Hey, you stay happy. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon. 5 o'clock pregame at Hudson's on White.
Yes.
Go join Tommy. We'll have the pre- and post-game show for Edmonton Sports Talk at Hudson's tonight. And he's got a bunch of GCs that he's going to be kicking around and dishing out as well. Tommy, you enjoy pre- and post tonight, buddy. Enjoy that game. And I guess I'll chat with you again on the Oil Stream on Friday, my man.
I look forward to it. Thank you, Dusty.